everybody. Here we go. Happy Monday. It's Matt Connarton Unleashed, and we are live from the studios of WMNH 95.3 FM in glorious downtown Manchester, New Hampshire. Also on Comcast 97 if you're in Manchester, streaming at WMNHradio.org and on the Facebook on the Matt Connarton Unleashed Facebook page. And of course, you can always go to my website, mattconnerton.com, for all your live streaming options and social media links and contact info and archives, etc., etc. It is Monday, June 21, 2021, and I am not alone. Jenny is here at the news desk.
Did you have my mic down?
Yes, I don't usually bring it up until right after the vocal.
Oh, stop.
Because in the first line,
you should have it open when I start to speak.
In the very first line of the song, that's where she says your name.
I know, it's right. Isn't that cool?
Right. Well, that's why I turn it up when I do. And we are not alone.
Yes.
A very loyal listener of WMNH is here, Miriam Banash.
Hi.
You can pull that mic right up, Miriam.
Hello.
There you go. Hanging out with the giant cardboard Peter Whitehead in the corner. Oh, yes.
We put
Slightly
her in the
alarming.
corner.
He's
Nobody puts her in the corner.
That's right. Well, somebody put Peter in the corner.
Yes.
It doesn't look like Peter this close up. I don't know. It's
Yeah,
just
yeah, you have to
like random lines.
Yes.
I need to get further back in order to tell that that's Peter.
Well,
you don't
just
feel like there are
abstract
eyeballs
looking.
on the back of your head?
It's not to scale. As you know, you've met Peter, and in real life,
He's
Peter.
tall, but not that.
Yeah, he's about 6'10", but his head is not that large. Yeah.
Peter, me,
Yeah.
spinach.
That would be quite terrifying, actually, if that were the case. But Miriam, it's wonderful to have you here.
Thank you.
We always see you in the chat room. This is our first time meeting today, so
It is.
Yes,
Welcome. I'm so
Thank
excited
you.
you could be here.
absolutely,
I am too.
Absolutely. If you'd like to join us, you can give us a call at 603-250-6007. 603-250-6007. You can also text us at 617-917-4476. Tweet me at Matt Connarton or send an email to matt@mattconnerton.com. And of course, you can always interact and opine in the Facebook live chat. But the best thing to do is give us a call at 603-250-6007. And Jenny, you've got, for those watching online, you've got some bread. Did you want to? Oh, actually, I was going to say you can present that, but we have a call. Let's grab this. Hi, welcome to Matt Connarton Unleashed. Who's this?
Hey, this is Matt Connarton. This is Crazy Lou from New York's Crazy Lou Rocky Road Review. Listen, I don't know if you're too busy right now, but I need your help.
Oh boy!
I need your help. Listen. You basically gave me the job because I'm the true New Yorker, not this crazy Joe. You gave me Crazy Lou the job. Hey,
Yeah.
I'm trying to get you my demo tape. Now, everybody in New York knows the best way to record is by VHS. So I'm trying to send my VHS recording
I thought it was
through the
tape deck.
email system. Now, if it can't work with AOL Messenger, then it's not going to work with anything. And I went on, I asked Jeeves on the interweb, Jeeves said that same thing. Now, I know you got a line of techs out there. I want you to get a technician out here and stop my VCR's clock from flashing because I think that's what's causing the problems.
Oh, no.
Wow. Well,
I don't know what this G-Man you keep talking about is. Is that some liberal pinko commie organization the boss over there has you that's, trying to prevent patriots like me?
Well,
I do.
Well, I'm sorry about that, Crazy Lou. You need to reach out to me when I'm not on the air, Crazy Lou. I'm in the middle of doing a show.
Listen. I know you're jealous of me. Where did you get your broadcasting degree? I got mine from Trump University. Where'd yours come from? From backwoods New Hampshire Hillbilly Liberal Arts Academy? Yeah, probably. Here in New York is the only city that rules the world. All right? This is the city of rock and roll. I don't know why you're all hung up with hippity hop and rap. Have you ever heard of rap or hip hop in New York City? No. That didn't come from New York. Only rock came from New York. Name some rappers from New York. I mean, come on.
Well, there might be a few, Crazy Lou. I don't know.
I live here in the heart of New York City. I live in Schenectady, New York. I'm at the pulse of the city. You live over there in, New Hampshire. Too many liberals. You know what? Too many liberals. We have a conservative city here in New York. People like myself, Giuliani, Donald J. Trump. You don't know what you're missing by not having me on your station.
I didn't know you were all...
You might have to check with the boss over there. She's the one wearing the pants, and you're wearing the panties. You're just jealous of my talent. You're jealous because you know I'm going to be the greatest radio host in history. I'm the next Howard Stern. You know what? I'm better. I'm the ultimate frontman. You know what I am? I'm an entertainer. I am to radio what David Lee Roth is to radio.
Well, David Lee Roth, Crazy Lou, very, very successful in terms of his music as lead singer of Van Halen, but his radio show, I think, only lasted a few months.
You're just jealous. You're jealous because you think you're Mr. High and Mighty with your global Queen City News network that you have.
Well, that's Glenn R.J. Willett, but
my Rocky Road Review is an innovative show. I play the hottest, the best rock and roll music, and we discuss what ice cream goes best with it.
We already have a Rocky.
I talk about Ben and Jerry's, Seal Test, Haagen-Dazs, Bottles and James. Only the best ice cream and only New York's finest.
I've heard, Crazy Lou, tell me if this is true, that you can only get ice cream in New York.
Well, it was invented in New York, wasn't it, you punk?
that's
you
what
think you guys up there in the New England area, you don't have cows.
Well, yes, we do have the cows. You need the cows to make the ice cream. That's where you get the milk.
There is no cows in the New England area. You're just a bunch of backwood liberal hillbillies. You don't have cows. And if you do have cows, you're marrying them is what you're doing. I know what you're doing. Not here in New York City.
Well, I am a justice of the peace.
I thought you were in Schenectady there, Crazy Lou.
Schenectady is New York City.
Oh, I'm sorry.
What are you trying to fight with me? I live in New York. I'm a city boy. All right? I'm what? About an hour and 25 minutes from the Bronx. That's in the city.
That's true. There are 6 boroughs now, right? I think Schenectady is one of them. I'm sorry. Oh,
I'm a true dyed-in-the-wool New Yorker.
Uh-huh.
You're just jealous. You're never going to be as hot as I am.
That's true.
Never.
That's true.
And I don't understand why, for the love I'm starting to cry. For the love of, why you can't send somebody over. I know you have people in New York. I know you do. I know Unleashed is in New York. I know your headquarters is right there. And I just need you to stop by flashing VCR. The VCR's flashing. What am I going to do?
Well, Crazy Lou, I don't know. I mean, I'd suggest going to Google and Googling what to do, but apparently you have an aversion.
Google? What? What are we on preschool games? Google?
Yeah.
What are you talking? I use Jeeves. Everybody in New York uses Ask Jeeves. Come on.
my God,
my
I
net
forgot
zero
how
account's going crazy right now.
I didn't know Ask Jeeves even still existed.
Does it?
It does in New York. It's because you people are backwoods.
I understand.
New Hampshire's so back behind the times.
Yeah. Well, I'm sorry about that, Crazy Lou. What can I tell you? We're just.
In fact, New England. What is New England? What does New England know about technology?
It's nothing. We're really we're just
MIT's only 30 miles away. So there's that.
we're just a bunch of country folk. Some country.
You're all a bunch of country bumpkins that the women rule the earth and the men just follow behind them. Not like me, not like Lou, the next big thing.
Right. Alex Whiteley wants to know what's so special about New York, other than you have Ask Jeeves.
People like me. You got people that straight talk. I don't beat around the bush. And if I do beat around the bush, it's somebody wearing an anti-Bush shirt because he was the greatest president next to Donald J. Trump.
Well, it surprises me, Crazy Lou, because they don't really see eye to eye necessarily. But
Trump fans liked Bush fans.
I'm talking about his father.
Oh, right. I understand.
But he's dead.
I understand.
Yeah, see, again, an ignorant New Hampshire person thinks he knows politics.
Yeah. Well, I understand why someone like you, Crazy Lou, from such a conservative place like New York City would look down on ultra left-wing New Hampshire, and I understand.
Moo.
I get it.
I'm just gonna. You know what? You've got me so flustered. I'm so flustered. I need to go see my shrink. I need to get another pint of ice cream. By the way, Crazy Lou's Rocky Road Review radio show is coming soon. It's going to be broadcast globally.
Wow.
Not on your network, though.
Oh, right. I'm sorry. Yes, because I refuse to help you.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes,
I'm sorry.
Evil man.
It will be on Yahoo Radio.
No, I told you not to, remember?
Yahoo Radio. Well, yes. Jenny,
Yahoo told me I could have a show. I can do a show every 2 months. It's a 2.5-minute show.
Wow. Well, good for you. You start at the bottom and you work
reporting.
You work your way up, Eventually you'll be able to have your show on Bing.
I will be the next Pat O'Brien.
Mm-hmm.
Does Bing still exist?
Oh, in New York it does.
I will be the next Shadow Stevens.
Oh, I remember. Yeah, that's great.
Good luck, buddy.
I have as much talent today that Casey Kasem has today.
That's probably true.
Yeah.
I will believe you on that statement.
Well,
yes.
good.
I could go toe-to-toe with him right now, and I would beat him to a pulp.
I wouldn't recommend it. It might not
probably
be very pleasant to be around right now.
You could probably beat him into dust.
Unless they did cryogenics.
Yeah.
See, look at this. You're insulting
Disney
me
did
even
that,
more so.
but only his
because
head.
you New Hampshireites have no respect for us New Yorkers. There's only two
Red
places
Sox
in
all
the
the
United
way,
States
buddy.
of America. California and New York.
Red Sox all the way, buddy.
What about California?
There's only two places that make a difference in the United States of America.
Uh-huh.
California and New York City.
Ah, yes.
You like California?
I'm surprised.
California has the most conservative people. That's where Schwarzenegger was governor. And if the predator can be a governor, that gives all us other predators hope.
Oh, well, I think we've learned a lot about you today, Crazy Lou.
So I'm just, you know what? I'm done talking to you. I wish you a horrible show, like always, because your show is just garbage. You think you're a great DJ. You don't even play that much music on your show.
And when I
You
do
talk about politics and what's going on in the world.
and I play this hippity hop music you referred to.
You play that frog stuff, yeah.
Yeah.
You do.
I do.
Yeah. Yeah, I want you to name somebody from New York that even likes rap.
I think everyone there listens to old school rock and roll. New York
They
City.
listen to Foghat.
You like that?
They listen to Ted Nugent. Yeah. We're real rockers, and we're a real city. And, I'm going to be waving my flag high up on the pole tonight in Schenectady.
Well,
And it's a flag that's got a middle finger, and it says Maddie Connarton on it.
Cannerton.
that's
Cannerton. That's a new one.
that's Cowington to you, there, Crazy Lou.
No, your name is Maddie Connarton today.
No, you can't be that because that would be what do you call that? Racial. What do you call that when somebody takes their identity?
All right. Well, Crazy Lou,
Like appropriation.
thank you,
yeah.
thank you so much for the call. It's been very
Can't be a
enlightening.
Cohen.
Very enlightening.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep. Make sure you tune into my Facebook all night because I'm not gonna let go. I'm a crazy lunatic that just can't let go of some local Manchester radio station. I just can't let go. I can't. So I'll be posting in the next 2 seconds, and I'll be doing it all day and night. And I know you keep sending your friends. You keep getting them on my page.
Yes.
And they keep being rude to me by just clicking on and liking things.
That's right. And they leave
dare you.
and they leave without saying goodbye.
I don't. That's rude. Do I go into your house, walk in, grab some graham crackers out of your cabinet, and just walk out?
You got me there, Crazy Lou. That's an excellent point.
Exactly.
That's an excellent point.
Well, I'm leaving. I'm done talking to you because I can barely understand a word you're saying with this hillbilly talk.
I know. It's that New Hampshire accent. It's how we talk.
So have a horrible show.
All right.
And be sure to tune in on my Facebook in about 2 minutes.
All right, Crazy Lou. Be careful out there on the streets of Schenectady.
You better be careful. I'm watching you.
All right. All right, Crazy Lou. You take care.
Oh, no.
Oh, boy. Crazy Lou. Wow, there's a lot of crazy people out there. Oh, whoops. Jeez.
Oh, my
Wow,
God.
that was quite the start to the
I
show.
have stitches and my side hurts.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
Well, I mean, it's probably nice to have Crazy Lou, since I don't think we're going to have Crazy Joe around anymore. I don't think we'll hear from him. I mean, there is, of course, virtual Crazy Joe.
Matt Connarton, all he had to do was say, I'll talk to you tomorrow, we'll make an appointment, and I will help you the best way I can, and if I can't help you, I'll try to find you help.
So there's virtual Crazy Joe.
Gosh darn it, how did he get in there?
But if we want to talk to an actual crazy person, then it's nice to know we have Crazy Lou. So that's
All right,
that's fantastic.
I don't like you anymore.
No.
You're attracting just the wrong people.
That's the thing. That's the thing in this business. You attract all kinds of riffraff.
Don't you know when you should and when you shouldn't? What am I gonna do with you?
Shouldn't what?
Mess around with these people.
Oh, yes.
You were the one that said to me, keep it at arm's length. I don't think we should get too involved with this guy. I don't want to start having to help him do his own show.
Right.
Where are we right now, Maddie?
Well, that's true.
It's your fault.
Well, back to the bread before we go any further, because you brought
I did.
You brought bread to present.
Not for you.
To our friend Miriam Banash, who's here with us in the studio.
And the irony about that is that when all of this stuff took place online, I really was making homemade bread.
Yes.
I really do make my own homemade bread.
It's gorgeous. Should I come over there and get it? I have gifts for you too as well.
Oh, very nice. Thank you. Well, excellent.
Should I get up and move around?
I'll do the moving for you.
Oh, there you go.
Okay.
I'll play woman in the middle.
All right.
There we go.
Well, while you do that,
in the middle.
I'll remind everyone, if you'd like to call us, 603-250-6007 is the number, 603-250-6007. You can also text us at 617-917-4476. Tweet me at Matt Connarton, or send an email to matt@mattconnerton.com. And, of course, you can opine and interact in the Facebook live chat, and we will say hello. We'll say hello to everybody in there momentarily. Let's see. Oh, I want to remind you, of course, we are proudly sponsored by the Hop Knot in the Brady Sullivan at 1000 Elm Street, right across the street. Don't go there today because Monday and Tuesday is their weekend, but they are open Wednesday through Sunday. And ironically enough, the same weekend that all of this stuff broke open online, for those of you who've been following everything that's been going on social media with our former friend Crazy Joe. I say former because I'm pretty sure he's upset with us. Like I said, it's nice that we have Crazy Lou though to talk to, so we still have that New York connection. But so the same weekend that all that was happening, many wonderful and positive things were happening here in the city of Manchester. It was a great weekend with the Juneteenth celebrations happening at the same time as Pride. And we were at the Hop Knot. Jenny and I went over there. We got there about around 6-ish on Saturday.
Oh, my gosh, it was amazing.
We had a wonderful time there. Oh, yeah, we should, let's take a moment, and Miriam brought us gifts.
Yes.
So.
And I have a box to open.
Is this a cookie?
Yes, it is.
Oh, thank you, Miriam. Very nice. Very nice. It's, for those watching online, you can see it's a car.
Fitting.
And,
fitting.
Custom.
And I took the one that's baseball because it's sports and you don't do sports.
I'm not a sports guy. That's true.
I know sports more than you know sports, which is really weird sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
But I have something else here. So this is a box that you made. She's talented with paper. I can't do things like that. Oh my goodness.
Oh.
Whoops. Oh.
very nice.
Oh my goodness, those are adorable.
They're origami cranes.
Oh,
That
very
is
cool.
amazing.
Very nice.
I don't know how people can do that. It's so intricate.
Needle nose pliers.
No kidding, yeah.
Sometimes,
Takes
and-
a steady hand, I bet.
I mean, seriously, this is so, I think it's probably really hard for anybody to see. I'll take a picture and post it on Unleashed.
Yeah.
So people can get a chance to see it. But,
Yeah.
oh, you know what I love about it? The lightweight. I'm
Doesn't
a lightweight
pull.
earring girl, yeah.
I didn't wear mine today.
That's just
but-
amazing how small that is.
Yeah, very nice, Miriam. Yeah,
that is-
absolutely.
Thank you very much. And
Very
she made the
nice.
box, too.
Yeah.
Yep, and I painted that with like polyacrylic, and the earrings I used nail polish to preserve them. So
Oh, very
they
cool.
ever
So
start
you
to
used
seem-
tweezers to make this.
I didn't use tweezers, so I did use needle nose pliers.
I can't believe
Although
you
the
made
folding I
this.
mostly did with my hands. It's amazing that I can do it. My hands are pretty shaky, but
I
it's
honestly, I don't
just taking my time.
How do you? I mean, this is amazing. This is so amazing. I have no idea how you can fold like this.
Yeah. Is that something that took a long time to learn how to do? You can
Yeah, I
pull,
guess
pull that mic up a little bit, Miriam.
I
we go.
guess it took a few years. I
Yeah.
started out. I was lunch and recess duty person.
Yeah.
And indoor recess, one day the kids were asking me how to make fortune tellers, which we used to call cootie catchers. They're like these.
Oh yeah, well you write
Thanks.
on the flaps if yes or no, and then you go to
Right,
the next one.
right.
I remember that.
Right. And so I had to remember how to make them. And then I made a whole bunch, and they wanted to make them every day,
Yeah.
all the time. Outdoors, indoors, didn't matter what the recess was. Everybody was making them. And I got kind of bored with it. And then I started finding others that were easy to make. So, that were for kids. And then, I don't know, later one of my kids gave me some penguin earrings that were origami. And I started to work at trying to do those. And that did take some time just because it's really small and it's, gives you headaches. And
Yeah.
I have
Yeah.
a magnifying lens, like with a light on it and things to make it a little
One
bit
of those
easier.
third hand things. They call it a third hand because it has like a alligator clips on it too, so you can like hold the item and for the magnifier. I can't even with that I can't do stuff that small. My eyes won't do it anymore.
Yeah.
I don't know how you do it.
I
really
don't do it very often now, but I did. Well, I did quite a few. In the summer, I have more time to work on it. So if I make a pair a day, I can do like a craft fair and just sell a few pairs.
Yeah.
It's like I don't do it for money. It's more just the fun of it. And if
Yeah.
I get a little bit back for my supplies, that's great.
Yeah. Oh, that's really cool. Very nice. Very nice. Thank you, Miriam.
You're very welcome.
Let's see. Oh, I just wanted to talk for a minute about the Hop Knot on Saturday, how nice that was. And they're our wonderful sponsor for those of you watching online. Of course, I've got my Hop Knot shirt on. But we saw, that was by far, I think, their most busiest day ever.
There were thousands of people in this city, though.
Yeah. Oh,
Thousands of people, and boy, there's at least 100 hanging around just right outside the knot.
Oh, yeah.
It was
yeah.
it was so amazing.
Yeah.
And they had, what was it, the Soul Sisters? Was that the name of the company that came and catered?
I'm not sure, actually. I didn't
Yeah.
catch the name of that company, but they worked with a lot of businesses in the area. They had the Juneteenth scavenger hunt they were
Yeah.
doing, and it was they had help.
Speakers and musicians. The steel drum guys were really cool.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And I
Penubian
heard
Steel.
I heard we might be seeing them come back to the knot in the future. So
Yeah, in September, right?
possibly, yes.
Yeah.
Possibly, yes.
Yeah, so it was really nice, and we saw a lot of great people there. A lot of our listeners were there. Rocky Huber, who's in the chat room, Easy G, Texas Mike, Veronette.
It was amazing to see everybody like that.
Yeah,
I'm looking forward. I look forward to doing it again.
Oh yeah, definitely. It was cool to run into Daryl W. Perry, who's had
That
some
was surprising.
pretty
Yep.
severe health problems. It was cool to
Yeah,
see
he
him
had
out and
heart
about.
surgery. Jeez.
We have a call. Hi, welcome to Matt Connarton Unleashed. Who's this?
Hello,
Hello. Who's on the line?
it's Dana Beal.
Huh?
Dana Beal.
Is your radio show going?
Yes. Oh, Dana.
Ah, that's excellent.
Yes. How are you?
We're working on a very plaintive letter to Gene Shaheen.
Oh, about what?
Well, it's about the Ibogaine, but it's also about the marijuana bill that's pending in the Senate.
In the
And we're trying to explain to her, marijuana people are not your enemies.
right.
You're treating us like the enemy, right?
What is
And you're really concerned about, like, your opiate problem, but could it be that you're rejecting the only solution to the opiate crisis because it came from the enemy camp?
Dana, what is the current, and for those who don't know, Dana, you've been on the show before, but Dana is a legendary cannabis activist and also an activist for Ibogaine. Am I saying that correctly?
Well, I'm a psychedelics guy in general, but I've been with Ibogaine. We picked Ibogaine out of a lineup back in 1980 because it was the one that worked really well for heroin. It turned out also worked really well for a bunch of other addictive drugs because it expresses a nerve growth factor that makes it work for all addictive substances. We didn't know that because in 1980, no one knew there were nerve growth factors. But the point we're trying to make here is we'd like this marijuana bill to get through. Now,
tell us
some question about how we can get to 60 votes.
Well, tell us about it,
But-
Dana. Before you go any further, what is the bill exactly? What does it say?
It's called the MORE Act. It's the pending marijuana bill in the Senate. It's Chuck Schumer's bill.
Yeah, we've talked about that one before.
and-
It's quite extensive. It takes cannabis out of its ridiculous category and puts it back where you, I, and everyone who needs to can use it. I believe it also has a legal aspect to it. Doesn't it help to clear people who have criminal records that are nonviolent from cannabis?
Yeah, it does a bunch of stuff. The only thing that we'd like to add is we'd like to, also free all the state prisoners, which it cannot do unless it decide to do it.
That's
I mean, they can do a
that's
lot of
constitutionally not okay. So that can't happen.
The individual states would have
to do it
that
themselves.
Right,
Correct.
Right.
You have to hope
Yeah.
they'll take federal lead.
But obviously, it would make a big difference in what the states do next, and it would make a big difference on the international level at the UN. If the United States legalizes weed, now that Canada and Mexico have legalized weed, it'll happen all over the world. So it's very important. And I've been working on this for 55 years, since 1967.
Oh yeah.
Long time.
So,
Yes.
back a long time ago, we realized that there was a problem right in our own community with people kind of messing around with drugs that weren't that good for you, unlike pot, which is really good for you, actually. And we decided we would have to do something, or our whole smoke-in movement would get strung out on heroin. And, we could say, there's a difference between life drugs and death drugs, but you had to have something to actually respond to it. And we knew of something that nobody else knew about, because in our group, the guy that made the movie Smoke-In, Howard Lotsoff, had discovered the Ibogaine-like effect in the early 60s. So in December of 1980, after Ronald Reagan won the election and we knew we weren't going to legalize Ibogaine for 8 years, or we're going to legalize pot for a while, we started working on Ibogaine. And it took about 10 years, but we got it into the National Institute on Drug Abuse because they had nothing for crack cocaine. And there was a big, brouhaha about crack cocaine. So we started a federal program to develop this drug, and it was only vetoed when they gave a vote on the panel that decided go ahead or cancel the project to the makers of Suboxone.
Okay.
And you might say, well, what does Suboxone have to do with crack? Suboxone's not really for methamphetamine or crack. It's not for stimulants. But they viewed it as a threat to them.
Yep.
And rather than other people get something that would work for their problem, it's a typical monopoly.
Yeah.
If you go out and try to find something else for opiates today, that's all there is.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And they're actually phasing out methadone because it turns out to have the same heart problem as hydrochloroquine. So we just want to find some people in New Hampshire, and we have a lady named Haley, who's actually from New Hampshire, who's in the New York Decriminalized Nature. It's a psychedelic movement.
You should
ready
connect
to
us.
get in touch with people up in New Hampshire and start a little local protest movement. We have some ibogaine
There's a lot
supporters
of that
in Boston.
here.
We have a lady at WBUR named Deborah Becker. But we need a few more in New Hampshire.
Yeah.
And let me explain to people. This is the first drug where you can take ibogaine in the morning instead of your shot of heroin.
Mm-hmm.
And 30 minutes later, your withdrawal completely goes away.
Wow, that's incredible.
Which, any opiate does that, but when the opiate wears off, your withdrawal comes back.
Sure.
And with ibogaine, it goes away and doesn't come back.
Okay.
So this is a real big deal.
Yeah.
And we want people to know about it, just regardless of whether we can get the senator to do something about it or not, because you might be able to use it. You can go to Canada or Mexico. It's only a Schedule I illegal drug in the United States. So you might say, why did they make ibogaine illegal to begin with? Well, they thought it might be like LSD. Turns out it isn't like LSD, and not only that, it's for a bunch of reasons, it's really not a drug with any kind of abuse potential.
Mm-hmm.
And so we went and talked to Chuck Schumer. We got shunted over to an aide, right? And the aide was interested only in talking about what we need to do to get this approved as a drug. But that's not what we're trying to do. We're trying, because we already did that, we're trying to go back to the original decision and say, this is really a law enforcement issue.
Mm-hmm.
Does it qualify? Does it have a high potential for abuse?
Mm-hmm.
Which it has to have to be in any of the 5 schedules.
Yeah.
It has to be a drug that gets diverted into the black market.
Yeah.
And, there are crack spots. You understand?
Yeah.
There's drug trade in the street and, violence and, all that crap. So,
Yeah.
You just don't have that with ibogaine. It's being used only in clinics because it has to be given under supervision. And it's not a drug people want to take again. Hunter Biden took it.
Well, Dana,
It's in his autobiography, Beautiful Things.
Dana, before we
it was moderately effective, but I wouldn't want to take it again.
Dana, before we because we're going to have to move on in a moment, but where should people go, or what can people here in New Hampshire do to put some pressure on our senator? Are there resources online that we should go to, or is it just a matter of emailing her?
You could contact you contact the office at Cures Not Wars at 347-343-1791.
Okay. Cures Not Wars. Okay.
347-343-1791.
Okay.
And you right now you'll get Evan, but Evan's always there.
Okay.
And he can, if you're going to need a treatment, he can refer you to a treatment. If you're going to need, you want to do something politically, he can take down your contact information and give it to me, and I will get back to you.
Okay. Wonderful. All right. Well, yeah, we we'll do our part to keep the pressure on. And Dana Beal, it's wonderful to talk to you again.
Do you mind if I have this lady Haley call you?
I don't mind at all. Please. Best thing to do, to call into the show or to contact me to schedule an appearance, or what do you, I mean, you can have her.
Well, no, to get in touch with you just to touch base.
Yeah. Why don't you have her email me, matt@mattconnerton.com. Because I'd love to talk to her.
All right.
Yeah. Have her. I would absolutely love to talk to her. Definitely.
Okay.
All right, my friend.
Sounds good. Thank you.
All right, you got it. Thank you for the call. All right. Yeah, Dana Beal is, he gets a little long-winded, so we had to kind of truncate that a little bit. But, well,
Mixed. To be quite honest, I don't like it when the subjects get mixed together like that. I don't look at these things as all one and the same. It's
right.
They're different, and there are different ways to handle different things.
Yeah.
And some of the medications being mentioned, I'm not a fan of, to be quite honest. I'm certainly not a fan of Suboxone. I'm sorry, I'm not.
Well, it doesn't sound like he is either.
It's just all the whole psychedelic and stuff. When we're talking about cannabis, let's talk about cannabis. Cannabis is one thing. Psychedelic whatever or something that you have to go make in some lab somewhere is an entirely different thing than a plant I pull out of the ground. It's not the same thing, and they should be handled differently. I'm sorry. I'm not in favor of jailing people. I think but they need to be dealt with correctly by having real detox places available, by having real beds available to help people get off drugs. Inpatient care. Because somebody trying to detox off of heroin, the first time you use it, you get a 50-50 shot of becoming an addict. Most people don't really realize that.
Yeah.
But I just don't like it when that gets mixed together. And the MORE Act has nothing to do with psychedelics or anything like that. And I did want to make sure people understood what the MORE Act actually is.
Yeah.
And what it does is decriminalize cannabis. It removes it from the scheduled controlled substance. Sorry, I said that backwards. It removes marijuana from the list of scheduled substances under the Controlled Substance Act. It eliminates criminal penalties for individuals who have been convicted of manufacturing, distributing, or possessing marijuana. The bill also makes changes by replacing the statutory reference to marijuana and marijuana with cannabis, which is the name we should be using.
Yes.
Because that's a medication, and that's a medication that I take. It's not a street drug that I take. It's a medication.
Yeah.
You can argue with me all you want to. I have the most painful disease known to modern medicine. Give it a try. What this also does, it requires the Bureau of Labor Statistics to regularly publish demographic dates on cannabis business owners and their employees. It makes a trust fund support varying programs available for services for individuals and businesses and communities impacted by the war on drugs. It imposes a 5% tax on cannabis products and requires revenues to be deposited into the trust fund. And it does a number of other things as well, but all in relation to cannabis. And I think we're absolutely out of our minds that we haven't just legalized and taxed. How many states would get out of debt on that? Look what happened in Colorado, because constitutionally they can't make a profit.
Yeah, they had to give tax rebates because they did so well.
I realize that but I have really become, and I'm sorry, but I'm really triggered by this. I have really become very bothered about people using incorrect language when it comes to modern medicine and things. I've read articles about people giving low-dose ketamine treatments for treatment-resistant depression, and you look at an article and it says new it's a tripping therapy. Tripping therapy. It's a get you high. I heard a famous athlete who has access to the best medical care in the world sit there and go, it's a legal high. No, it's not. And I am so bothered by this. Cannabis is cannabis. It has a very good place available for many people. For some people, it's not a good idea. For some people, it doesn't agree with them. It is not harmless, but it is certainly far better for many of us who, and I will agree with him on that, who had to take opioids to control their pain. And we do not have an opioid epidemic because of prescription medications. We have an opioid epidemic because of illicit fentanyl. That is what killing people every single day in this country. That's what kills people every single day in this state is fentanyl, illicit fentanyl. That's what we got to control. And it comes into our country from Canada, not just Mexico, Canada. It comes through New York. It's not a Mexican problem. It's an American problem. Sorry.
No, that's okay. But yeah, I mean, I think Dana would do a little better to kind of separate the two messages, because he's like I said, he's a legendary cannabis activist. He just had a big write up in the New York Times.
Oh, I don't mean any disrespect.
No, I know
Please
that.
don't take it that way.
No, I know that. But yeah, we had him call into the show a few weeks ago. He and John Hopwood know each other, and no, it was a very interesting conversation. But he also advocates a lot for Ibogaine, which I knew nothing about, to be honest, prior to talking with Dana for the first time. But I do think it would be, he could present it in a little more organized fashion if he kind of separated the two.
I think but that's one of the things I like about Matt Simon is when he's a huge cannabis advocate, and he's done a lot of work here in the state, and that's it. And I kind of get almost a little bit offended when somebody says, "We've got it. We need to tell your group. You give us a group of people in New Hampshire for us to teach." And that kind of sometimes bothers me, because it's like, you have any idea what kind of grassroots activism we have in this state? Matt Simon, when he talks about cannabis, he doesn't mix it up with other stuff. And we can't. We need to stay on topic. You lose everybody in the ether if you don't stay on the one topic, because the minute you mention heroin or cocaine or whatever it is, you just lost a whole bunch of people that don't want to hear that. They were listening to you when you talked about cannabis. They're not going to listen to you when you talk about something else. And yes, that stinks. Maybe it doesn't make you happy. Maybe you disagree with that. But that's how it works. Stay on topic, and you can get more things done.
Well, that opens up a line for you, 603-250-6007, 603-250-6007 if you'd like to call in. You can also text us at 617-917-4476, tweet me at Matt Connarton, or send an email to matt@mattconnerton.com. Jenny is here with us, as well as our friend Miriam for the first time on the show, although you have been here before. You were once on or maybe more than once, on the morning show?
Once. Yep,
just once?
just
Yeah.
once.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Very
now
good.
they talk about me possibly being angry with them, and that's why I never came back, which is not true.
Well, that's interesting. Why? Why did they think you were angry with them?
I don't know. I think it's a running joke where they just say, "Oh, she's mad at us. He's mad at us." You know, like they just do that all the time. Carol Robideau's mad at us. It's just a running joke.
Yeah.
Because one morning that Peter was saying something about Miriam came in, but she never came in again.
Well, it can be very uncomfortable when someone thinks you're mad at them.
As a man, are you mad at me?
See, like even virtual Crazy Joe, he gets very, very concerned.
I could sit here all day long and tell you people that I'm a badass from New York, and I am afraid of no man.
Yeah, so even if you're mad at him, it doesn't matter to him.
But I'm not mad at him. There was a scarier situation because I just showed up. Peter said, "Come on in anytime." So I took him at his word, and I came in at any time, and he said, "Well, Miriam Banash is here crashing the show."
Oh, okay.
And then I really didn't have anything to say, and there were guests, and I was just sitting there feeling very awkward.
I see. Well, let's say hello to everybody in the Facebook live chat. We've got a couple of folks in here, too, I want to mention are going to be on the show this week. Let's see. Tom Blanchard is in the chat room, says, "No wonder I hate the Yankees." I think referring to Crazy Lou, who called earlier.
Red Sox.
Wayne Noel, who is a top fan all the way from Michigan, says, "Afternoon all." Joe Friday says, "Good afternoon to my peeps. Nobody leaves EZG string in a quarter unless it's a wedgie." Now, Alex Whiteley, who is all the way from the UK, he's going to be Skyping in tomorrow, I think in the first half of the show. In the second half of the show, our friend Mike Sutterth will be here for his new segment on economics. Maybe Alex will join us for that as well. Melanie is in the chat room and says, "Hi, Miriam."
Hi, Melanie.
Let's see. We have a call. Let's grab this call. Hi, welcome to Matt Connarton Unleashed. Who's this?
Hi, this is Mark from Texas.
Oh, hi, Mark from Texas. I think you and I might have met once or twice.
Yeah, maybe 3 or 4.
We may have even attended a protest once together.
Yeah, Clamshell Alliance for life, brother. You already know.
Wow, how are you?
I'm doing well, sir. I am doing well. I just caught your live broadcast. I've been listening to I forget what's the lady's name on the other end?
Jenny?
Jenny, yeah.
Yes.
No, I'm totally with her on that. I think she's right. You gotta stay on topic because you do lose people in the mix if you do that. But I was commenting too on your Facebook feed. You know, I think this really it triggers me because it's a core topic for me. It's all about natural law and self ownership. Because if someone else is going to make a claim that you can't put a naturally occurring plant into your body, then they're actually what they're saying to you is they have a higher claim over your body than you do as the inhabitant of that body. And I think that's the macro, that's the bigger picture that we kind of miss. And I think a lot of political discussions nowadays, we kind of miss the big questions and we're not asking the right questions. And I think that's the question we need to start with is, where do these people that call themselves government get the power and authority and control over us? And where does that come from?
I like to refer to them as our lawgivers and overlords. But yeah, I think, Mark, that's a really good way of putting it, the way you said that about, giving someone else more authority over your body than your own. And, and I've always opposed the drug war. I certainly want to see cannabis legalized at the bare minimum, but I'd like to decriminalize everything else. I'd like to do, something like what they did in Portugal. I think it should all be legal, and I think that the only reasons these things continue to be illegal are for profit motive. There's a lot of people who make money off of the drug war. You know
how much money that would take out of the prison system on a national basis?
When
you consider how many people are in the average prison on a drug crime.
Oh, yeah. Well,
and how many, and who in our community gets affected by that the most?
Yeah.
But, oh, no, don't talk about that. That's a large percentage
right.
of the
I'm with
prison
you on
population.
that, Jenny, and not to dilute the subject, but, I would just even categorize that sort of thing as nonviolent, victimless crimes. And it's 51%. It's 51% of our prison population, and they're in there for hurting nobody.
I can remember a kid that was in high school when my own was in school, and this kid was accepted into a university. He had a scholarship. He had everything, and he got caught with a couple of joints. Not talking a lot here.
Mm-hmm.
His whole future went out the window. He was no longer, the college canceled on him. Everything was done. And he also had thought about, I guess, going into the military, and that was done too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and it's a horrible thing because it literally ruins that person's life.
Yep.
Over what?
At the age of 17, when they've barely had a chance to even, they're not even an adult yet. They haven't had a chance to do it.
Right.
We used to let kids make mistakes.
Well, it depends on who you ask.
Now we jail them.
In California, apparently, you can pick your gender at 4 years old.
Well, now I'll just
get me started on that.
I'll just remind you, Mark. You did say it's not wise to mix subjects.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Well, I'm very eclectic in my thoughts.
Yes, yeah. No, I understand. I think we all are. No, it's fine. I'm just.
They're all moving here to Austin.
Breaking balls a little bit. Yeah, they are, aren't they? I think Gene Simmons is moving to Texas. No,
for real?
For real. Yeah.
I wouldn't want to live in a state with the death penalty.
Well, I think everybody, they have the death penalty. Yeah, they must.
They kill the most people in the country.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, they love that.
No offense, buddy.
In Texas.
No, I had nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
Your tax dollars hard at work.
You've been in Texas a long time, though, now, haven't you?
Well, yeah, I originally moved here in 97.
Wow.
And then I moved back for a few years, and only to move back and been here ever since.
Yeah. No, I mean, good for you, man. I know you've been very successful there, so that's awesome.
Oh yeah, you've done tootin'. This is my third year of being retired.
Yeah, good for you, man. That's great.
And we're just going to buy another condo as well. So the vacation rental market has been really well.
Yeah.
Here. I mean, everything down in Texas. The business is booming. In fact, there's some areas around here that are the busiest and most vibrant economies in the whole country.
No kidding. Oh, that's great.
Like New Braunfels, just north of me, about 20 miles. A friend of mine has a contract with a builder, and they're the biggest builder right now in the United States for per county.
Now,
per capita kind of thing.
now, where you are in Texas, were you affected by what happened over the winter there?
Oh, yeah, that was fun.
Yeah.
So at 2:30 in the morning. So all right, let me set the stage. So I'm living out here in the country, and we have a well for our source of water, and so everything's run on electric for the well and everything else, and the heat, of course, is run by electric as well. So at 2:30 in the morning on that first cold night we had, we shut the power off on purpose because apparently ERCOT had sold our energy to the Northeast because they figured y'all could use it, and they didn't anticipate
Right.
us needing it, because we up until then we'd had a pretty mild winter, which usually is the case. We have like a fall and then it gets warm again.
Yeah.
And we have days of winter. We don't have like a week or a month of winter. We have days.
Yeah.
And they're fun to enjoy because they are so novel.
Right.
When you don't have a whole lot of them, you can enjoy some snow once in a while.
Yeah.
But so we had 4 days where the temperature didn't get above freezing, which was just a nightmare for everyone.
Yeah.
Because they cut the power, so everyone here, on the property because I have tenants, was dripping pipes and doing everything they were supposed to do. But then when the power goes off, all bets are off because you can't keep the water running so it doesn't freeze without electricity. So then, everyone's pipes burst everywhere, not just me, but even people with city water and it's the same situation. If they can't heat their house, then their pipes will burst. And in fact, the judge that lives across the street from me saved my butt because he had a bunch of PVC parts when Home Depot was sold out.
Oh.
And everyone was like getting in fights over this stuff.
Wow.
Because
Yeah.
everyone needed the same thing. Like literally 90% of the state was in the same boat.
Yep.
We all had burst pipes. I personally had 3 I had to fix.
Oh, jeez. Wow. Ugh.
And I couldn't even get it, the glue to dry and cure to fix the PVC until after the 4th day of the freezing weather because in that temperature it won't work right.
Right.
You can't get it to work. So you can't even fix your pipes till it gets warmer.
Yeah.
Even when you have the materials. So yeah, it was a fun little experience and self-sufficiency and a good beta test, I think, for why I'm going to get a propane generator in the next month.
Understood.
For real. I mean, because clearly, we all pay our electric bill, but we can't rely on them.
Yeah.
And of course, now that it's warm down here, they're saying, don't use the heat or the air conditioning, don't use the electricity because of the heat, and the grid can't handle it. So they can't handle it warm or cold now, apparently.
Oh, wow.
We're lucky here that we don't
Yeah.
have to deal with that. We don't have to deal with rolling blackouts and things.
Yeah. Well, they certainly never expected to have to deal with it in Texas, but because I remember while
That was a first.
Yeah, I remember while all that was happening, just watching this all play out on the news and thinking, I realized I've never lived in Texas, but I realized, you get a winter day here and there over the course of the winter, but the way that deep freeze, that weather system just hung there for 4 days, it was like,
Yes, sir.
oh wow.
And
Wow.
that was the killer of it, is because it didn't even get above freezing for 4 days.
That's
we
incredible.
were all just doomed.
Yeah.
But
Jeez.
on the flip side of it all, because it was here in Texas and because of the culture down here, and this is one of the things that attracted me here, besides my dad being down here
Oh.
and my little brother. We all didn't riot, we didn't loot, we didn't tear up the streets. We literally what played out in my neighborhood with the judge helping me fix my pipes after he fixed his own.
Yeah.
And me helping, my tenants get up and running. That's the way we all kind of came together in a crisis like a community
Yeah.
should.
Yeah.
And helped each other. And there was no looting or anything
Yeah.
because a lot of the businesses lost power as well.
Yeah.
But nobody broke in and stole anything. So, it's just,
that's good.
It's just the difference between like your big city blue states that, destroy everything when they're celebrating, never mind when they're, protesting, versus, down here where it's more of a, I think an ideal American kind of culture and way of living. Where you learn, where they
you're
children are taught respect.
I think you're generalizing a little bit, Mark, but okay. But I understand.
Well,
I understand what you're saying.
You know what I mean. Last summer, everything was on fire in those blue state cities. And
I don't think everything
down here.
I don't think everything was on fire. I think you're.
That's a bit
I think you're over generalizing with
Well, let me
from
just say that
from an
something
idiot.
like Chaz would never exist in Texas.
Something like what?
That would something like Chaz would never be
Chaz?
allowed to happen. Chaz,
That's awful.
you remember Chaz?
Yeah, I think that's awful.
I'm confused. What
Yeah.
Chaz?
Bono, Chaz Bono, who's trans.
No,
Oh.
Chaz was the name of that little community that they took over in Portland, where they
Oh, I thought you were talking about. That's what
oh.
I took it. This the only you two. Okay, Miriam said they thought the same thing.
I didn't know what.
Over there nodding her head.
Yeah,
you're good.
I'd completely forgotten about
It's an
Chaz.
unusual. It's more of an unusual
Yeah.
name to hear.
Yeah.
You don't hear it often.
Yeah. All right. Not even in Austin that wouldn't happen, Mark? I'm kidding.
No,
I'm kidding.
not at all. Not at all. Well, I don't know. You keep getting them California people moving over here.
That's
They're
right.
They're running like it's on fire.
That's right. Next thing you know, well, all right.
So what's the state right now in New Hampshire for the cannabis legislation? Y'all have it medical, but not recreational, or what's
We
the
have
deal?
medical.
I know it's legal in Massachusetts.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're surrounded by places where it's fully legal. All of our border
Really?
states and Canada. We are decriminalized here, but we can't get past. Here we are, it's a little embarrassing, frankly. We're in the live free or die state, and we can't get to full legal on cannabis. I mean,
We can't even get patients to be able to grow their own medicine.
oh yeah,
And I think they just passed a bill that allows the dispensaries to be change their status to a for-profit organization.
yeah. So
So
Well, I know I visited.
they're using the backs
I've
of some
seen
really
that,
sick
played out
patients
in
to
other
make some
states
money.
as well, because I've visited Colorado in 2015 after it was legalized there, and of course the big thing was everything has to be a cash transaction because technically it was still considered federal, so they wouldn't allow any like debit cards or any MasterCard.
right.
Yeah, that was going on here too. Here too.
Sure. And the interesting thing is, I was in New Hampshire 2 years ago, and I took my sister over to the border to a first dispensary, and there was the same situation. And the ironic thing was that the people that owned that dispensary were out of Colorado.
Oh, no kidding.
We have three.
So what you're seeing
we have
now
three
is you're
companies.
seeing a small monopoly startup where
That's what
every
these
state,
are.
as they start to legalize, they kind of figured it out in Colorado, and because it's been legal there the longest, and I think they're starting to franchise and start to open up places in all these other states as they become available.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what we have here. We have three particular companies that own all of the dispensaries, and you can only pick one. Can't pick them all. You can only pick one. And
What do you mean you can only pick one, Jen?
so when you go to renew I am a cannabis patient. I just renewed my certification. There are three companies in the state. I pick one, and that is the one dispensary that I can go to, or two if they've got two. Actually, I think they have all of them. I think have two now. But if I pick the one in Merrimack that's owned by Prime ACT, I cannot go to the one that's in Plymouth, which was Sanctuary ATC. So I have to only go to the one by force. And I want to add that I wouldn't have a single solitary problem about dispensaries making a profit if patients were allowed to choose to make their own medicine. If you looked at how much money I spend in 1 month for meds, you'd lose your mind.
Well, I don't understand what's the reasoning behind that.
Well, don't you know I am going to become a major trafficker for everybody because that's why I am a patient. Yeah, said no patient ever. I actually co-sponsored the bill to legalize cannabis, and especially for medically here in New Hampshire over a decade ago. And it's the same fight. We're also, remember, we're in a control state. We're one of 7 states in the United States that still has government in control of all liquor sales. If you own a restaurant, you want wine, you go to the state. They are the biggest mouths up there about allowing people to use cannabis. They don't want you to divert any of the golden goose money, because that's what they call it at the State House, New Hampshire. No lie, they call it the golden goose. They don't want that getting cut into. It's over $20 million
Yeah, they
in
call
profits.
it golden goose. I call it what it is, corruption.
Exactly. And you know what? It's on both sides of the aisle when it comes to that issue. Democrats and Republicans both.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, money spends on both, whether it goes in a blue or a red pocket. Or green, whatever the color is, money spends the same. And that's the problem, I think, is when you start putting people in charge of other people, you're just doomed. At that
I
point.
want the
It's just
government
gonna
out
get
of my
worse.
exam room. Get the heck
Sure.
out of my exam room.
Yeah.
It's their
and I
interference and their
agree,
problems that make
on a broad spectrum,
malpractice so expensive
I'm with
that
you on
doctors
that.
won't sign. The malpractice insurance
sure.
for my doctor's insane. Who signs for me?
Yeah.
And I have to
Yeah, and of
spend a
course
couple
they
$100 for that signature.
Yeah, and of course, homeopathic clinicians and other people that are outside the spectrum of big pharma, because I don't know if you know your history, but the Rockefellers created the modern day medical industry from the schooling all the way up to the big pharmacy companies. So they're in control of it from the beginning to the end, and that's why the original homeopathic and natural remedies were considered alternative. I mean, isn't that the most ironic thing ever? Is nature is considered alternative. Where,
Right.
Right?
Originally, there was petroleum products, and they called them snake oil salesmen.
Yeah.
And those people are considered legit, and everyone else is a weirdo.
Or when
Right.
you go to the grocery store, the processed item that you can cook quickly was more expensive because it was easier.
Sure.
Now it's more expensive to get real food.
True.
Well, now you understand why I grow a garden every year.
I got one on my
I got
porch.
tomatoes coming in right now.
I'm doing
yeah.
a porch
You
garden.
got to do it.
Oh,
Yep, yep.
Jenny knows absolutely. Listen, Mark, we're past the top of the hour, so I have to go to a break and show some love to our sponsors. But thank you so much for the call, old friend. It is nice to hear from you, and call us anytime. I'd like to chat with you on the show more often.
Yeah, well, like I said, I got time now, so
Yeah,
when I see a alert on there, I'll chime in.
All right.
When I'm listening.
All right, Mark. That sounds great.
Hey, yeah, y'all keep fighting the good fight, man, I'll keep listening.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
All right, Mark. Take care.
All right, y'all take care.
Bye-bye. All right. Wow. That was Mark and I went to high school together.
Wow.
Yeah.
You feel old now?
No, I just it was weird to hear. I mean, that's because I don't think I've seen him literally since high school. So that was cool. That was cool. Well, we're a little bit past the top of the hour, so I'm gonna play something for you, Miriam. I didn't tell you I was gonna play this, but something I know you will like. You can guess.
Oh,
You can guess. Yeah.
I think I know.
Yeah. But so we're going to play one or two quick things and show some love to our sponsors. And then we will be back with hour number 2 of Matt Connarton Unleashed live here from WMNH 95.3. Don't go away. Welcome back, everybody. We are well into hour number 2, numero dos of Matt Connarton Unleashed, and we are live from the studios of WMNH 95.3 FM in downtown Manchester, New Hampshire. Also on Comcast 97 if you're in Manchester, streaming at WMNHradio.org, and on the Facebook on the Matt Connarton Unleashed Facebook page. And of course, you can always go to my website, mattconnerton.com, for all your live streaming options and social media links and contact info and show archives, etc., etc. And Jenny is here as well at the news desk.
Hola.
And in the corner with the giant cardboard Peter Whitehead is our friend Miriam Banash.
Hello.
Hello. And if you'd like to join us, you can at 603-250-6007, 603-250-6007. It's been a very busy show so far.
I know, right?
You can also text us at 617-917-4476, tweet me at Matt Connarton, or send an email to matt@mattconnerton.com. And of course, you can interact and opine in the Facebook live chat, and we will say hello to everybody in there. But best thing to do so that we can hear and enjoy your dulcet tones is give us a call at 603-250-6007. And I do want to remind you, of course, that we are proudly sponsored by the Hop Knot in the Brady Sullivan Plaza at 1000 Elm Street, Don't go there today because Monday and Tuesday is their weekend, but they will be open. They're open Wednesday through Sunday. We had a great time there over the weekend on Saturday, the big Juneteenth block party. Just an amazing time.
We had a pretzel pizza.
Yes, I love the pretzel pizza, and we got to hang out with a lot of great people there, and they did a great job.
It was amazing.
You know, such a wonderful family that owns and operates the Hop Knot.
You know what was really cool too about it is it was so nice. I mean, just everybody was so nice to each other and getting along with each other and just having a really nice time.
Yeah.
And I needed that. It felt like just a huge decompression.
Yeah, yeah. I always sometimes I get a little nervous around Texas Mike. You never know. You know, he is a former AWA tag team champion.
And he's got his eye on your job.
I'm always afraid he's going to pull out a steel chair and hit somebody with it. You know what I mean?
Wants to be Mikey Unleashed.
Oh, right. I've heard that.
Yes.
I've heard that. But it was a great time at the Juneteenth celebration on Saturday. So many great people and so much positivity in the city. Pride was going on at the same time here in Manchester. And just a great weekend. And, you know, and then, of course, we got to go home and enjoy some of Crazy Joe's live videos.
Oh, my gosh.
Where he
seriously, it's like waking up to what?
I'll tell you what. It's all very exciting. I've never so much in my life enjoyed being so mercilessly insulted. Jenny can tell you I really do double over laughing sometimes. He
really does.
He calls me. My favorite thing is when he calls me Hillbilly Matt. You know, because I'm such a hillbilly. When he talks about me on the farm.
you at a farm?
I know. It's so.
That's a visual.
Right. Yes.
You want a real visual? Think about him in a kitchen. Ooh.
Oh yeah. Oh please.
No, I can say that. He takes no offense. This man cannot boil water.
I mean, I probably could if I watched a YouTube video.
He has never cooked for me ever, not once,
Yeah.
not ever. I'm not even sure if we could allow that.
I put a pizza into the oven once or twice.
Not for me.
Yes.
Nah, man, nuh-uh.
Yes, I did.
No, you didn't. Nope, you might have done it for yourself, but you did not make me no pizza. And even if you did it once,
it was a long time
Maddie,
ago.
one pizza.
It was a long
that's
time
the best
ago,
you can pull
but
off for me.
But it happened.
I thought I was better. You know,
but it happened. Well, you know.
I don't know if we really, Miriam. I don't know if we should let him cook. Anyway, I mean, maybe we need a few fire extinguishers before we allow that.
I don't know. Our virtual.
That's kind of my ability to cook as well. I get my crock pot. That's about the extent.
That's some extensive cooking there, though.
I think virtual Crazy Joe does not think I'm the one who should be cooking.
Why don't you be a man, Matt?
Yeah, see? He wants me to be a man.
And I'm not saying that in a derogatory way, and I'm not saying that in a bad way.
Right. See?
Oh, shush.
Okay.
I hate that guy.
What a come here to gang up on me.
Yeah. Why do you have to gang up on him?
I was sweaty. My nerves were shot. I was going to have a nervous breakdown at any moment.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
Have some sympathy.
No. Back it up for a second. This was the one that got me. He said that on his video in relation to him working for a whole 2 hours.
He put in 2 hours of work.
I put in 2 hours of work and I was sweating. Really?
No.
Dude, I work 24-hour shifts.
No.
I thought the whole Crazy Joe thing was like a shtick at first, and I
did
now
too.
It's not.
No, he's really a white supremacist pig.
I'm not really crazy about her, and I never really was.
Oh my goodness.
Oh boy.
Sit and spin, honey.
No. Oh, well, what are you going to do? I do want to mention, so we have some great guests coming up. Alex Whiteley will be, he's from the UK, so he won't be here in person, but he'll be Skyping in tomorrow. Also, Mike Sutterth with his new economic segment. Mike, also known as Grant Lampton, who plays at the Hop Knot every Friday night and is doing a residency there. Also, tomorrow night, I'll be recording, and I see him in the Facebook live chat, an interview with Dirk Don, who did that wonderful mini documentary, might be the term.
I was just going to say, I want to say a thank you.
Yes.
He's a complete stranger. I don't know this man. And he made this video and he's totally defending me. And it really meant a lot because Joe keeps attacking me on the fact that I am an Ashkenazi Jew. Mm-hmm. And he went down if that wasn't bad enough, he likes to call me the C word. amongst other things.
Yeah, charming guy.
Yes,
charming
very charming.
guy. Yeah.
He thinks Matt needs to put me in my place.
I want you to convince your people that I am a raving lunatic. I want you to do that.
But the
You really had to ask
I
for
don't
that?
think I don't think he needs any help with that.
Right. Yeah, I think you're right. But the video, and I did share it out on social media, how not to run a show, the Crazy Joe train wreck. And so I'm going to, it'll be afterwards, so I'll play it the next day on the show because Dirk isn't able to call in live because of his day job. But so tomorrow evening after the show, we're going to, I'll be recording that with him, and then we'll share it the next day, and we'll share it out online, of course. And then we'll you and I can get with him after we do that to figure out, because he wants to interview us, not so much about Crazy Joe, but about content creation,
Oh,
and
cool.
podcasting and all that.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
So that'll be great. So see, positive things have come from this whole debacle with Crazy Joe.
Well, and I like that he's being exposed because I don't want a single solitary person to ever think of giving him a moment again. We gave him so many tries. We were hand-holding and trying to teach. You know what, Miriam? I'll tell you something.
This is between men.
Sorry, virtual Crazy Joe. He just had to he just has to chime in.
Now,
Then
see,
I will treat Jenny like a woman until she acts like a woman.
I'll give you such a what for you won't know what got you.
Well, you can't because he's
I'll get
virtual.
you into next week.
I don't know how that's going to work. He's in the computer, but go ahead. Yes.
I have no idea what I was saying. Are you kidding?
Well,
Was it what we were talking about earlier, just about the things that he says to women? And you and I were talking earlier, like,
Yeah, he's awful. He's awful.
very
He just
misogynistic.
There's not a single
Misogynistic,
word
rather.
that you can think of that you wouldn't want your kids saying that he didn't call me. Mm-hmm. Like it was, he called me everything but a good person.
That's right. Yeah.
You talk to me. Look, you might be right.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, at least he admitted you might be right.
I know what I was going to say.
Yes.
There was this young man that Matt and I met a few years ago, and his name is Ambrose. He is a male breast cancer survivor. A lot of people don't realize men can get breast cancer too. And he came to us and he wanted to have a show. He really did. And he wanted to talk about that. He wanted to get it out because the more we get it out there, the more men are going to check their pecs, right? But they don't. And most of the time when men get breast cancer, it's stage 3, stage 4 by the time it's found because they don't check. So this guy, Ambrose, was from Florida. And he knew how to use a computer. He knew how to use email. But he didn't know much else of that. And we taught him everything. Matt took him by hand, taught him how to do, and he ate it up. And when he wasn't learning something from us, he was watching YouTube videos or he was talking to somebody else who's a content creator. And he learned how to do everything from the ground up and got so good at it, he started using Dropbox and he put in so much hard work and effort. And I'll tell you what, he put in more than 2 hours. What the heck is 2 hours? That's okay. I washed my rig and I stocked it. Now I'm going to go to real work. Seriously, I used to put in 24-hour shifts. I've never had less than maybe 3 jobs in my whole life until my second cancer.
Yeah.
And this schmuck is complaining
about 2
He's
hours.
sweating. I worked for 2 hours. Maddie, I was sweaty.
But in fairness, he is from New York.
New Yorkers know the truth.
Wimps, the babies.
New
They
Yorkers-
need somebody to hand things to them.
New Yorkers
Apparently.
know New Yorkers know the truth. He said it right there.
The truth
New Yorkers know the truth.
about you?
I don't know. I don't know what about.
Because do you have aliases?
Maybe I do. Yes.
Because he's given you an awful lot of aliases.
Well, Alex Whiteley in the chat says that gosh darn Matt Covington.
Yes. There's the Covington, which you'll find the witches.
Camington, Carrington.
Countington is where you find the count. He'll help you count. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
And then let's see. We also have Cowington, where you find the farm that Matt grew up on, right?
Yeah,
The
well,
moo-moos.
I am a hillbilly.
Moo.
Yeah.
Moo. And then there's Comington. This is where the hypnosis comes in, and that's where he's supplying the mass hypnosis to make people like him.
Now, Dirk and
I'm not done.
Oh, no.
Oh, that's right. You wrote these down. Yes.
I did. There is Carroton. Carroton is also a farmer, apparently, but he carries around the carrots to have fisticuffs with. And then we also have Caffington. Now this is for the younger cattle. We go there for the younger baby cattle because for whatever reason, Maddie just likes to separate the cows from the calves, is what I hear. And then there's the there was the Carringtons. That's only when he's feeling apathetic.
or when I'm watching Dynasty.
I instantly thought Dynasty.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Oh my God, seriously. I've literally had that running through my head. That in Dallas, because when the guy called him from Texas, that's all I could hear in my brain was the Dallas theme.
Yeah.
But yes, and I think there was one other one was Carrington. You were carrying things around. That's the Yeti side.
Right.
So that's all. I mean,
So you figure a guy like Matt would want to help me.
Well, so Dirk points out in his in the chat that this is exactly why I mentioned Shirley Curry in my video. She doesn't care about age. She gets her content out after recording herself playing Skyrim. I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. So apparently, yeah. So if you haven't seen the video yet that Dirk made, Shirley Curly, she's an older woman who, she doesn't, unlike Crazy Joe, she doesn't use her age as an excuse to not be able to figure out how to do these things.
Right.
And apparently she has quite the following online. She makes videos on her YouTube channel of herself playing the game Skyrim and
Skyrim. Yep.
Skyrim.
Skyrim is
Yes,
that
Skyrim.
okay?
My son plays
Think
it.
up in the sky.
Oh,
Skyrim.
okay.
Like
and
it's a takeout there.
and she has and she's built quite a following, but she had to figure out how to do all that,
Right?
But Crazy Joe doesn't want to figure out. He doesn't want to put the work in.
Look, you got two different kinds of people in life. You got the lazies and you got the doers. And this Crazy Joe guy, he's a lazy piece of, right?
Oh my.
Lazy man cannot hold a candle. Even though I am sick and I'm not even supposed to be able to walk, I could work that man under a damn table any day of the week.
Right. Well,
Yep.
let's see. So I'd mentioned in the chat room. So
Camera off me.
hello to Alex Whiteley, Dirk Don, Joe Friday is in the chat room. Tom Blanchard says, "Screw you, Joe. You're crazy." Oh my goodness.
Ooh, I like it.
Now that's directed at Crazy Joe, not Joe Friday.
No.
Of course.
I think Joe Friday would know that.
Joe Friday says, "I have heard rave reviews on Jenny's bread."
Yay, thank you. Who'd you hear a review from? I like to know who's happy.
Dirk Don, and I think this is in reference to our earlier call at the top of the show from Crazy Lou, says, "Oh, thank God, I've been needing to send you a large file from my Yahoo email." Yes. Charles,
Remember those days way back when?
yeah. Charles Richardson joins us in the chat. Charles says, "Hey, everyone. How is everyone doing today?" Charles, of course, from the Charles Richardson Show, which is live online every Wednesday and Friday night from 7 to 9 p.m. And, of course, he's from Raw Talk Online. Rocky Huber, who is a top fan, is in the chat and says, "Thanks for Saturday. It was nice to see you guys." Absolutely. Let's see. Just want to make sure we don't miss anybody in here. A lot of...
Shannon McGuire.
Oh, Shannon McGuire in the chat. Yep. Hello, Shannon.
There's somebody else, and I can read them, but I can't comment or say like or say nice.
Oh, Stacy Lawton is in the chat room,
Yes.
and we'll just go ahead and mention that's another nice thing that has come out of
Seriously, right?
this whole Crazy Joe debacle. Is I received on Sunday. Woke up to a very nice, long, very, I think, heartfelt and sincere message from Stacy Lawton.
Real sincere.
Wanting to reconcile with us and kind of, as I said, we'll hit the reset button and
All for it.
And I think that was wonderful. I was very happy to see that message, and Jenny and I discussed it, and we life is too short for grudges.
Like 9 out of 10 people deserve a second chance. Then there's Joe.
Then there's Crazy Joe, yeah.
Which we actually
now you
did
tell
do.
your people what a bad guy I am, okay? Please.
Now,
You're a schmuck.
Well,
a schmuck, I tell you.
Virtual Crazy Joe, we can't control him. He just chimes in. But the actual Crazy Joe, I suspect won't be hearing from him again.
Can we make virtual Joe talk to Ridley Joe, and then maybe they can sort out?
Yes, maybe virtual Crazy Joe and virtual Dave Ridley could have a chat.
I think Ridley would take him. Yep. Mm-hmm. Wipe the floor with him.
Perhaps.
He'd probably scare him with all those liberal speakage.
Oh my.
And things about same-sex marriage and Letting children play with computers is apparently a disgusting act. We should not allow children to play with computers or have cell phones until how old did he say?
Oh, that's right. He did say, Crazy Joe said in one of his videos, we're giving laptops and cell phones to babies, and that is raising them to be Nazis.
Yes.
Which is
said by the Nazi, interestingly enough.
Not a conspiracy theory that I was familiar with. Oh, and all of a sudden Alexa is talking.
See, I told you that happens.
It happens all the time.
Miriam's getting the inside scoop here.
Mark D. Kastick is in the Facebook live chat. Mark, of course, my old friend from school who called earlier. EZG Eric Gagnon joins us in the chat. Eric says Hell in a Cell was a flop. He's referring, of course, to last night's WWE pay-per-view event.
For him to say it was a flop, boy, it probably definitely was a flop.
Alex Whiteley says, are you not nervous that Crazy Joe might ring up live on the show? Well, he's welcome to call us, but I don't think he will.
I think he's too scared.
Yes, and I think between Crazy Lou and Virtual Crazy Joe, I think we've got New York City well covered. Plus, plus Dana Beal called earlier, and he's also from New York.
Have you Nazis not got it yet? You lost. You're done. You're done, honey. Your 15 minutes of fame are over. Go away, you white supremacist, male chauvinistic pig.
Dirk Don points out, I'd be surprised if he called, especially after the video I put out about him. I wonder if he's seen it yet.
Oh, God, I'd love to be a fly in the wall. But Miriam, have you seen this video?
I haven't. I caught a glimpse of the title of it, and I thought, oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't actually see it yet.
It's epic.
I can't wait to see it. I'm looking
watching
forward
it.
to
My
it.
jaw literally is like on the floor going, oh, my God, I love this man. Who is this man? I love this man. This is beautiful.
He's good. He's telling the truth.
Yes. Yeah. Very
Needs
much
to
so.
be there.
And I appreciate it. I usually don't like to see things like that, but this is an instance where you have somebody who's determined to push his agenda of the white man and women having a place and this garbage. But the guy actually at one point brought up cassette tapes to us. And I'm like, is he really going to seriously mail us a cassette tape? Is that going to happen? I really started to wonder if that was going to happen. Because if you look at his videos, everything in there is like ancient. It's old cassette tapes. And didn't you say it was like big VCRs you could make out of it? And it's just weird equipment. Weird. I think he's trying to make it look like it's broadcast equipment.
Yeah.
And maybe for a small band radio or CBs it is, but not in the radio world.
Christian LaCoss, DJ Reckless is in the chat, says, what is going on with Crazy Joe? I'm so confused. It's a lot to try to recap, Christian, but maybe Virtual Crazy Joe can explain it.
Oh, God.
In the last 24 hours, these guys have come with a gang of at least 25 people, all to gang up on me to make Matt look like a hero. Matt is a hero to his people.
It's my private Jewish cabal.
That sums it up well, Virtual Crazy Joe. We have a call. Hi, welcome to Matt Connarton Unleashed. Who's this?
It's Christian.
Christian, how are you?
I'm great. I don't mean to be this person.
Uh-huh.
But what did I say when we first met this character?
Oh, yeah. You already pulled that stunt with me, buddy.
Oh,
Go ahead. Get it over with, Matt.
When we first
I
met.
clearly missed quite a bit over the past 3 days.
Yeah.
So now I have to go watch all this man's live streams. But is it really worth it, though?
Yes.
The 24-minute YouTube video that exposes the guy for the scum that he is, that's 100% worth watching.
Watch that.
More than once.
But watch all of it if you can.
But Matt doesn't get it.
I'll do my best.
What have nightmares?
So my show is diversified. That's why my show is so much better than Matt's show.
Aren't you going to say it to Christian? Christian, aren't you going to say to Matt what you said to me?
Why is he so obsessed?
I told you so.
Matt?
Yeah.
Oh,
That was it.
I mean, it's weird. Are there
I
other
don't mean to
radio
be that
people
guy,
that
but-
he's...
Now does everyone
No.
see why I argued with him, though?
What was your argument with Crazy Joe? I don't remember what.
He called me a liar, and because I wouldn't help him.
Oh, because you
I
would.
run my own business.
Oh,
man.
really?
Like,
Matt, this is on you for not having the patience
Like,
and
bro,
not having
fuck
the
my left
dignity.
Oh, see, I didn't realize he had asked you for help.
yeah, because it was the whole Instagram thing when he got banned from Facebook.
Oh, that's
He's
right.
banned from every platform, in my opinion, because he's a
The rate he's
disgrace.
going, he will be.
Yeah. Well,
Somebody like him doesn't need a platform. I'm sorry.
Well, his name is Crazy Joe, of course, so we should expect him to be crazy. It's truth in advertising, really.
And let me add, the other end of capitalism is also being able to vote with your dollar,
For once, it's not false
to
advertising.
shut somebody down if you don't like what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
So there.
But yeah, I wanted to get an update on that. I'll go watch those videos. But
Yes,
man.
go watch the videos, sweetie. We'll explain it all to you when we get home.
Settle in, make some popcorn. I know you like popcorn.
Seriously, it's popcorn worthy. It really is.
It really is, yes.
I wanted to come ask you for popcorn last night when I was watching it with Matt,
I enjoy.
but you weren't home.
I actually
It's gonna be
enjoy.
my plan this evening now.
Maybe it's like a weird fetish I've developed. I enjoy being insulted by Crazy Joe. I think it's fun.
It turns you on?
You know, you've.
Matt, I was
it a
watching
fetish.
your car
Whoa.
live streams, like the live streams
That
you
turns
do
you
over
on?
the weekend.
Ew.
You're both talking at the same time. I don't know what either of you were saying just now. What?
All right, I was watching the car live streams you were doing, and that's how I knew something was up with Crazy Joe. And I was like,
Yeah.
what the heck did I miss over the past 3 days? I don't come home for 3 days, and this is what I miss?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, there you go.
At this point, if you wait 5 minutes, you're behind.
That's true.
At some moments.
Honestly.
Not even kidding.
Honestly.
Yeah.
There's been some really wild stuff getting posted like minutes apart.
And apparently there's no fixing it.
But
That's
it
right.
doesn't do any good because I understand, Matt. There's a lot of words that have been said between me, you, and your girlfriend, and it'll never be right.
It'll never be right.
I mean, honestly, I've gone at people for coming at you guys, but this guy's a waste of my time.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have respect for him, but it's disgusting. I actually did listen to like 5 seconds of one of his streams or whatever that you posted,
Yeah.
and I heard him call Jenny the C word, and then I was like, yo,
Yeah.
this dude really wants to catch these hands
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
today.
Yeah. He's.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. He's gone further. Oh, but he did reveal in a video that he posted last night that he has a learning disability. So I guess he
That's the
expects.
excuse for
He
calling
clearly
me the
has
C word.
something. No disrespect.
And the anti-Semitic comments went even further.
Oh, by the way,
Oh, I
Christian.
haven't even heard those yet.
Christian, you got a.
I'm in for it, ain't I?
You got it. Well, you got a nice compliment in the chat room. Alex Whiteley just said, "I like Christian."
Thanks.
Yeah, he's from the UK.
Also, real quick, shout
Yeah.
out to Tony Petrello last night. He showed up at 603 Bar and Grill to say hi,
Oh,
and it was awesome of him.
oh, very nice, Tony Petrello. Yes, he listens to the shows here on WMNH and is a big supporter. That's wonderful.
It's quite interesting.
Hmm.
That was quite an interesting night.
Okay. When now,
But yeah,
what else do you have? What do you have coming up this week for shows?
I had the Pride Festival at Madeir's in Pembroke,
Mm-hmm.
and other than that, that's it.
What's the date on that one?
Friday, June 25th, I think it is.
Oh, okay.
There's a $5 cover charge.
Yep, those guys
and,
are great
Yeah.
at Madeir's. Yeah.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah,
I want to
they're
go
awesome.
back.
Yeah, Jenny and I went and we did the podcast that they do, and it hasn't aired yet, but it's going to apparently once they're done
That was
editing.
right before the plague started happening, wasn't
As
it?
of right
Yeah.
now, that's the only show I have this week, and it's looking like it's going to stay like that.
Okay. Well, all right. Well, we'll see what else comes up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's for sure. But yeah, I wanted to call in and see what was going on with Crazy Joe. Thank you.
Oh yes, of course.
I'll brace myself for
Yes.
what I'm going to watch right now.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, and make sure you go back once this archive is up in just a little bit. Make sure you go back and listen to our call from Crazy Lou at the top of the show. It's right at the top of the show.
You got to be playing with me.
No, not at all. We got a call from Crazy
Oh,
Lou.
my.
Yeah, you got to hear it. Trust
yeah, I
me.
told you. You fell behind real quick.
You got to hear it. Trust me, it's worth it. It's awesome. It's wonderful. Absolutely.
All right, I'm going to go.
All right, Christian, thank you for
I'm
the
going to
call.
brace myself for this, man.
All right. All right.
All right, thank you, guys.
All right. Thank you. Enjoy. All right, that was Christian LaCoss, also known as DJ Reckless. That opens up a line for you. We've got a little bit of time left in today's show. It's been a very busy Monday. 603-250-6007, 603-250-6007. You can also text us at 617-917-4476. Tweet me at Matt Connarton or send an email to matt@mattconnerton.com. Rocky Huber says in the Facebook live chat, I think Crazy Joe told me to go feed my cows before he blocked me.
Did you? Apparently, Dirk just posted that he's back on live right now, so we'll have something to watch when we go off air.
Oh, Crazy Joe is?
Apparently, I think that's what Dirk just posted.
Oh, wonderful.
I'd have to back out of our chat to figure it out.
Ah, I see. I
can do that, though.
Yeah.
I'm talented that way.
Alex Whiteley says, I had a guy like Joe start beef with me like this, and then he tried to run my name and shows through the dirt. Rather than beef it out with him, I invited him on my podcast, and we talked it out. Worked out okay in the end, but he did get very personal and very nasty for a while there. Oh, yeah, I see the comment. Dirk says, Joe's back live.
He says, I'm vomit ugly.
Oh, my goodness.
There's a new term.
Must be a New York thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
But Matt doesn't get it.
I just don't get it.
Oh,
Well.
do you think that, it kind of dawned on me when he was talking about trying to get you to teach him how to attach a file that's too large to a Yahoo account that won't be able to send it? Is that also his, internet service, maybe? Maybe he's still running on dial-up.
I don't know, probably.
I can see him doing that,
Well, the whole thing happened just very quickly, and for people who don't know, who haven't been following this play out on social media over the weekend, Friday nights I'm on a show called Retro Spectrum Radio with Paulie C, along with our great friend Dan Randlett, and Joe wanted help. Joe thought he was going to have a show here on WMNH, actually.
Was that before or after the book he sent Peter?
Oh, before.
Before, okay.
Joe wanted to have a show here on WMNH, which was probably almost certainly never going to happen. But we did tell him we'd put the show on our streaming platform, IPM Nation, if he could manage to put one together that was not going to be controversial. It was just going to be music, Joe's rock and roll
he really
power
sounded
hour.
sincere. He's like, I just want somebody to give me a chance. Nobody will give me a chance.
Right. We felt badly for him at one point.
Us.
But it was before all the anti-Semitism and the racism and everything came out. We didn't know he was a bigot at that point. Not that it was a huge shock to find out that he was.
No,
but
that was a shock for me. I did not expect to hear those words coming out of his mouth.
I didn't
some
expect
of those words
that.
were terms that I haven't heard since childhood.
I didn't expect that either. And he sent this long. He did mention Peter White once in one of his videos. He sent this very long. Peter forwarded me the email. This very long rambling email. I told Joe, I said, if you want to get on WMNH, you're going to have to create a demo show and send it to Peter so he can evaluate it and then, see if management wants to approve it, because Peter doesn't have the final say, but you're going to have to go through Peter because he's the program director here. And instead, he sends Peter this long rambling email, no demo show attached to it. And then Joe can't figure out why Peter didn't respond to him. And I told Joe, I said, because you need to actually send him something to work with here. You can't just send him a long rambling email without the MP3 that I told you needed to send him.
And me being who I am, I go to his page to look for that stuff, Joe's page.
Yeah.
Like, where are the shows? Let me hear what he's got. Let's hear what's going on. There's nothing there. And I'm not the only one that noticed that. It's in the documentary there.
Yeah.
I tried to look him up too at one point. I never did find anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a nice looking website, but there's literally nothing there. There's not a single solitary content of anything. Not one video, nothing. No, not an audio, not a song, it's very pretty, but that's it.
Yeah.
It's like picking up a newspaper.
He's an entertainer.
Yeah. It's like picking up a newspaper that's got a title and all the pages are white.
Yeah.
There's nothing there. Just no print.
Yeah.
And I was doing impressions, and I was doing comedy, and I was playing up the Crazy Joe persona.
No, none of that is on his site.
No, none of that.
There was a point when I heard something. It was way back in the beginning where I went to wherever it was he said to go in to listen. And I listened for a little while, and then I talked to him, and that's when he got really angry with me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, what happened with you with him?
I was trying really hard, just to give him a chance and listen. And so I was talking to him. I think it was on like a Facebook Messenger. And he was saying something about you people in New Hampshire don't understand, what it's like in New York. It's all you people in New Hampshire. And I said, well, I think you're kind of overgeneralizing. That was the end of it. Just blocked me furious because they said he was overgeneralized.
Yeah.
And that was the end. I'm just boom.
Because he did bring he did bring your name up in a couple of videos about not liking you.
Yeah.
Because us New
Well,
Hampshire
yeah.
women.
Because I said he overgeneralized, which was true. And I was trying to help him, but...
Yeah.
A true New Yorker like me, I don't need nobody to back me up.
No. Well, you tried, Miriam. But so what ended up happening, the way this all came crashing down is Friday night, he's trying to contact me while I'm on Paul's show, Retro Spectrum Radio. I'm live on the air. And Crazy Joe is messaging me and sending me emails, and he can't. The crux of it was he couldn't figure out how to send me the file. He
Did he actually try and call you too?
He tried to call me.
I thought so. Live on air, he tries to call him.
He made the show, allegedly. He had the MP3. And he wanted to send it to me, and he couldn't figure out how to do it. And, I'm in the middle of a radio show, so of course I'm not going to answer my phone. And I'm giving him I am answering him on Messenger, and I'm giving him very short answers because I'm in the middle of doing a radio show.
You actually gave him the way to do it.
And
I told him.
I told him what to do. He was trying to send it using Yahoo Mail, which I didn't know even still existed. Apparently it does. And, a little antiquated, but whatever. So, the file was too big. So I said, okay, sign up for a Gmail account, because with Gmail, and it would have been so easy for him. It would have been so easy. With Gmail, you can send large files. What'll happen is, or what would have happened had he bothered to try is, he could have gotten a Gmail account, tried to send it via Gmail. He would have attached the file. It would have told him, this file is too large to send as an attachment. Do you want to use Google Drive? Yes. And then it would have uploaded it that way. And then he could have hit send, and it would have, I use it all the time, and it would have sent it to me via Google Drive.
We use it between each other.
Yeah. And that would have been it. That was all he had to do. And I told him that on Messenger. That was all he had to do.
Truth be told, Maddie pre-edits my articles for me before I send them to my editor.
Yeah. I help with the editing of the articles published on themighty.com.
That's all I use.
Alex Whiteley in the chat room
uses
uses WeTransfer.com. That's another service. I work with people who use Dropbox. Crazy Joe didn't want to have to pay for anything, and Google Drive is free. So I said, here, use this. He didn't want to hear it.
If it won't work on Yahoo, it won't work on nothing else.
Yeah, that's what he apparently thought. He said that in one of the videos.
And you, Maddie, how dare you not send a human being to his doorstep
that was
in New York.
I keep forgetting. That is the funniest part.
Where the hell are you hiding your millions?
That is the funniest part of the whole thing. He thinks I have a team of technicians who could have helped him. And he can't believe that I didn't send my support staff to help him to figure out how to email me a file.
You should be able to send me someone that can help me with this.
Yeah.
That's what he kept saying.
He literally thinks that.
Miriam, I'm going to put you on a plane and send you to New York to teach him how to do an attachment on an email.
I like to teach people stuff.
Well,
but that's a bit of...
that would be... No.
Yeah.
I should have had you on my support staff. But I should be, and by the way, I realize I should be flattered that he thinks that we are so successful and that we have this huge company with all these employees who could have helped him, but we don't. So
he doesn't. Well, you are talking about an individual that can't fathom the idea of actually doing the work.
Right. Well, that's the thing.
Just saying.
It would have required...
Man, don't know how to do no damn work. Nope.
It would have required so little effort. I mean, I told him. I told him what to do.
He would have had to stand up. Maybe he would have had to type. Ugh.
And he can't...
That'll make him sweat.
He can't get over that I wouldn't get on the phone with him and help him or make an appointment, a phone appointment with him to walk him through it. It's like, it's the easiest. He can figure out how to go on Facebook and start Facebook Live. start live streaming on Facebook. He can't figure out how to go and sign up for a Gmail account, and then
He thinks it costs money.
I told him it's free.
Well, there's an ad that offers you the paid version that gives you more storage space. And Gooba is looking at that instead of the one right in front of him that says, sign up here free.
That could be, yeah.
You talk to me. Look, you might be right.
Shut up, you schmuck.
Yeah. So there you go. There you go.
He actually said at one point that Matt should have been able to step away from the show to say, I know you need my help, and we'll make an appointment later on so I can help you then. Like, he should have literally,
This is like a sense of entitlement.
Yes.
A terrible sense of entitlement.
He just thinks everybody needs to just stop everything.
Yes.
And, it's all about him.
He just wants to sit on his lazy,
because he thinks
he
thinks he's a big star. And the thing is, we saw potential in him. We actually saw potential in him. But I also knew he was kind of a flake, and so I was very careful not to invest too much time and effort into him.
Yeah, still invested too much time and effort into him.
Apparently, but
Apparently?
I waded in very slowly with him. I was not going to invest too much in him, knowing that this had a very high probability of failure. And you know what? I even suspected that this one thing was going to be the issue, that he wouldn't be able to figure out how to send me the file. I really did. I kind of knew all along.
I didn't think he'd know how to record it.
Apparently,
or that maybe he'd do it in a tape cassette.
Yeah.
Because he did actually ask you about cassettes.
Yeah.
I don't even own any anymore.
Yeah.
No, there is one cassette in my house. It's in the hope chest.
Yeah.
Because it has a song that my son liked when he was a baby. And it's in there with the keepsakes. It's a cassette tape.
I might have a box of cassettes in storage.
I have loads of cassettes.
I certainly don't have anything to play them on.
I still have Yahoo Mail.
You have Yahoo Mail?
I do have Yahoo Mail.
Do you send large files from Yahoo Mail?
I don't do anything with it except look at old mail on there. They used to forward my mail to Gmail, and they stopped doing that recently. So now I have to go and check that I'm in the process of trying to get all my, contacts all switched over. I'm not using Yahoo anymore, and it's
back in the day. I was the national spokeswoman for an organization that we used Yahoo groups to communicate with one another on the what do you call chat boards.
I didn't know
that was before Facebook, before even that music one that we used to chat on. What was that music one again? Can't remember.
And I have a weird email address. Like the beginning of it is Callis4773, and that comes from AOL because I wanted Callisto, and so did like 4,772 people. So I was like, so they just stuck that at the end of it. And I kept it, and I moved that over to Gmail just because everybody knew that. But
well,
I come from a different time.
I'm here with you. I had my finger on the record button for many a night trying to get the one song. And if you missed it, you had to wait for it to come back around on the radio. There was no rewinding this stuff.
Hello to our friend Scott Robinson in the chat room. And Bobby Champagne says, how was the Midas afternoon at the Ale House? Yeah, we didn't make it to this one, but we should remind people, DJ Midas, of course, every Sunday afternoon on the patio at Central Ale House from 3 to 8 p.m. This Sunday was a little hot for us to be there, but
we did get to go there last Sunday, and it was a lot of fun. We saw a lot of faces.
Yep.
A lot of WMNH family.
Yep, absolutely.
It was really cool to see everybody like that.
And DJ Midas, of course, has a show here on WMNH, Late Night Delight, every Saturday and Sunday night, beginning at 12 midnight all the way to 4 a.m. I suppose, so we should begin to wrap up. But Miriam, this was lovely to have you here. And thank you again for our gifts. And
you get to come in again.
Yeah. I thought maybe I was a little boring. I don't know when to sort of say stuff, and should I just be quiet?
It gets easier and easier as you go, and you did a gorgeous job tonight.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. It was fun.
Yeah, you're always welcome.
Oh,
absolutely.
Absolutely.
We like you.
Oh, thank you.
It's nice to be able to.
I like you. I don't like him. I like you.
I want to say hi to Shannon McGuire because she said hi to me in the Facebook live room because
absolutely.
we work together.
Awesome.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, we used to work in the same school. We don't now, but we're still in the same district.
Oh, very good. Very good. How is that? Well, I guess it doesn't matter now. It's summer.
Yeah.
Boy, the last year,
It's
though,
kind of
must have
hard
been...
to transition.
Yeah.
That's hard for me because I really, really love my job, and I really feel like there's a lot of positive to it. And, so the transition from working to it being summer is a little bit hard. So I'm like doing my crafts and
Yeah.
waiting for summer school to start because I am going to do that.
Oh, okay. Okay, great. So tomorrow on the show, we'll be joined by Alex Whiteley and Mike Sutterth. And Wednesday, I'll be able to present my discussion because we're going to tape it tomorrow night, although I'll probably put it out on Facebook Live while we record it. It just won't go out live. But my conversation with Dirk Dunn, really looking forward to that. And oh, yeah, there's the notification about the Crazy Joe show is live now.
Probably complaining about us, which is really funny.
Oh, yes, I am sure.
And let me add mine. Latest article's up on the Mighty. This one's about how ketamine infusions literally saved my life. If you want to find out more on that, you can look me up on there. And I think I'm at Jen Coffee there.
Yes.
You'll see it's Jenny Coffee. Or if you want to learn more about me, you can go to jencoffee.com.
Absolutely. And there's one other thing. I forget now. Oh, I wanted to thank Dana Beal, cannabis activist, for calling in. My old friend Mark from the Lone Star State of Texas. That was surreal. And of course, Crazy Lou. Who joined us at the top of the show. That was a very interesting surprise. That was a lot of fun.
Must be his like half brother or something.
Yes. Well, they're New Yorkers. He is from Schenectady. Oh my.
Ooh. We know how he feels.
And Kristen LaCoss, of course, joined us. And in honor of Crazy Joe, I'm going to play another in honor of you, Miriam. I'm going to play another Puddles Pity Party.
Thank you.
But in honor of Crazy Joe, I think I'm going to play Crazy Train.
Perfect.
Puddles.
That's an awesome way to end the
version of Crazy Train. Yes. So we will end with that. And if you missed any part of today's show, it'll be up in just a little bit at WMNHradio.org. And don't forget to visit my website, mattconnarton.com. And don't forget, they're closed today and tomorrow, but they'll be open Wednesday. Don't forget the Hop Knot, our wonderful sponsor, and all the great sponsors here at WMNH. And make sure you're back tomorrow morning, bright and early, 7 a.m. for the morning show with Peter White. And we will leave you with this from a Puddles Pity Party. This is Crazy Train.